This is it, man.
So this is the man cave, huh?
Yeah, this is the cave.
How long did it take?
This has been like 2 years. I mean, I know we've talked about it. You know, it's 2 years of a vision, a solid year and a half work, and kind of an evolution. You know, as we're able to save up money and kind of get more and more of the plan together. So.
Well, I remember the evolution of, you know, what you were saying. Just kind of, it started out with the rack, and then it started, you know, building up from there. But.
I mean, we're gear guys, but also functional, so we have to have places to prepare our gear, to obviously train, and sometimes just to kind of get away and be present in maybe a project. I found that's kind of a recovery method for me. So,
well, I don't think every guy needs a place to go. You know, whether it's under roof or like this, an attached garage. I think every guy needs a place where he can just get away. You know, the family can come in, but they got to leave too, you know, that kind of deal.
So the first thing we did, we put up pallet racking, and that allowed us to store, you know, hunting, fishing, camping, all kind of the outdoors things, tools. And then first thing that happened after that was the rack, because I had to keep training. And this has been huge, as you well know, because you train at home.
Right.
I mean, how many workouts have you been able to get because you were actually home?
Well, just, you know, the effectiveness of having the ability to walk out and do a 30-minute workout if in short order, and then be back inside doing what I need to do, rather than a 30-minute round trip drive plus a 30 to 45-minute workout.
Right, or you don't train because you're like, I don't get a big one in today, but I've noticed leave a bar loaded and I could come out here and hammer out 15 or 20 deadlifts mixed with some pull-ups almost any day, and at least I got something in.
Right.
So we did the spray foam first. After that, we came back and put the insulation in the garage doors. It had that blue insulation kind of board. So we'll get back to the kind of the purpose behind where we went from there. Then we went with our flooring system. We went with the big monster floor, 22.5 mil.
So this is actually the new product line from Sorinex, right?
Right. This is E-Core flooring that Sorinex sells. This is the exact floor that we put in at University of Tennessee football, their Olympic sports, and some other big installations. So part of this was, you know, put my money where my mouth is, and put it in here so I could make sure that I got to be on it every day and give feedback and make sure that it was working. Inch and a half, a little over an inch thick. So that was, I have little kids. I have 2, 4, and 6. They're going to play, they run around, they roughhouse, they're little boys and girls, and so I want to make sure if they were to fall that there wasn't going to be major injury.
Right.
Also, while I'm running gear, getting it back and forth, drop a gun, drop a bow, I didn't want to have to, you know, major repair work.
Right.
So that, it makes it a lot quieter, easier to clean. I've done the rubber mats, the stall mats, I've done all that before. You end up getting all the dirt and the crap, and it looks like crap.
Well, that's my biggest problem is, you know, the flooring either moves apart, and you get those in between cracks just full of everything, or, you know, it's just it's always a recalibration, you know, just moving them
and
back
it shifts around and everything. So I bit the bullet and put the flooring in. And so what we did, I believe this way is 30 feet. So we did, I think it was 26 feet of flooring and then 4 foot wide or 5 feet wide of turf. So we made it seamless going across. And then the turf is a kind of a stretching area, an open up area, but then it goes the full 50-foot length of the room, so we can pull sleds. And, you know, I'm not going to sprint in here, but my kids will do hurdle hops and things like that, just having fun.
Well, I think what people can take away from this is you can look at a gym and think, man, I want this or I want that. But this is really an ideal home version. I mean, when you see these strips of turf at a gym, you're talking 5, 10 yards wide sometimes.
Right.
This is effective. You know, you could absolutely do your we got the root hog over here, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, root hog, and
do the root hog down and back. You could do a prowler. You can do all kinds of stuff here.
Sure.
And it's minimal. This right here is, you know, this is absolutely ideal.
The work is here. So the main thing is to incorporate my family as much as I could into something that is usually pulls me away from them, which is training, working out, or getting ready for an adventure. And that was what was happening. I was pulling away. I was missing the time with them. So by creating a family-friendly space, we put a TV on the wall.
Right.
So if the kids are in here, they could watch a movie while I maybe get ready for a hunt or something like that. Or they have little barbells and hurdles, and they could set those up. Or I'll set up plyo boxes. I got the foam plyo boxes here, so they can't get hurt. I have ropes that hang from the rack, so they'll swing like Mowgli and listen to the Jungle Book music. I try to leave it as open as possible. They're chasing each other around, but It's been cool because now the family could get after it. And my wife, mother of 3 kids, and she's also working. She has no time to go to the gym.
Right.
But she's been able to have some really great gains. Real simple, simple, large, complex exercises. Sprint, putting in some sprints and runs around here, and it's something that's galvanized our family and pulled us together instead of something that split us apart.
So let's talk about the gear. I mean, obviously, Sorinex is your company, is your brand. You have access to any and everything that you want. And I think a lot of times people look at some of the racks at a university type setting, and it's overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, it's just this amazing expanse of equipment.
Sure.
I think sometimes that blinds people to the vision of having a home gym.
Yeah.
So here you are, you have pretty much access to anything you want. I'm looking around and I don't see a lot of the bells and whistles. I see a very, very simple, straightforward setup, and that's exactly what I have as well.
Right.
So I think for people who are watching this who maybe are curious about setting up a home gym or think maybe I couldn't do that, well, this is absolutely, you can. And I'm looking at it, and this is pretty much an ideal setup for what anybody could have. All right, so here we are. This is the foundation. I think this is kind of the pride and joy of Sorinex, the base camp rack.
Sure.
Changed the industry, led the industry, of course. When I'm looking at this, it's a little different than mine. You have the angled rack.
Sure.
You have jammer arms, which is an extension, which is an attachment that's available. These are the ready adjust.
Right, so they'll adjust all the way down.
So just tell me what you were thinking whenever you got this. What was your goal with this setup? Because as individualized as we can make it, this is a pretty rad setup.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. This is kind of like how the whole system worked really within my life. It's been just kind of an evolution. So the part of the rack has a really kind of this short wheelbase in the back, and you'll see it actually has lower uprights in the middle. I hate to say this is a Frankenstein rack. If you remember the Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time, it was literally parts and pieces that I built as my old house. I had to put it under the garage door, so I only had 7 feet.
Right.
So I actually cut off 2 uprights that would fit in my old house. Well, when I moved it in, I literally just kept adding things to the rack. I knew that 7 feet wasn't going to be high enough for pull-ups and different overhead suspension work.
Right.
So I made custom some angle bars, but I would also be able to do climbing, chin-up bars going up. And so a lot of it was based upon what I wanted to try out in training, things that were going to fit in my life. So I built the rack really to my goals, which is not unlike what we do with a lot of our professional sports teams and college teams. Whatever their goals are, we built to. So really a lot of this was a Frankenstein rack of what I needed.
Sure. One thing I want to back up and just ask you about right here, or just make clear, somebody that's looking at this is like, oh my gosh, that has every attachment that I would ever want. You don't have to get it all at once. And I think that's something that is really, really neat about Sorinex is, everybody has a budget. I don't care if you're an elite level collegiate team, a Division I school, or a major league team, or a guy working.
I own the company, and this was budgeted to what I could afford.
Exactly. So, it's not necessarily I've got to get it all at once. You can get the rack as it comes, some safety straps, a bar, the J hooks. You can get the bare essentials, and then from there, I've noticed relatively the attachments and the add-ons. They're very, very manageable. It's when you look at it, sometimes you can be overwhelmed, and it's like, well, what can I afford? What can I afford? And you strip it down to what you can get, and then every 6 months or every year you add a little bit more, and then in 3 or 4 years, you've got something that's just really, really incredible. Like even you said, this is an ongoing process. So
yeah, but you're exactly right. This one is an ever-growing piece, and when you come back a month from now, they're probably going to have something else put on or off. I have an adjustable chin-up bar put in there for the kids. They usually have a rope swing in here because they think they're Mowgli from the Jungle Book, like I said.
Well, that's the one thing that I really like about Sorinex, and have really noticed when I look at other companies. A lot of times we're just a little, like the finishings are a little tighter. The storage is a little bit more creative. It's a little more space saving. And that's something that I think everybody's looking for, especially somebody that's in a home gym or a garage gym type setting. You have to maximize every single inch because it matters. So when we're talking about space saving and storage saving, the thing that I like about these storage pins is they're adjustable. They're universal to every single hole. you can put them, you can have this one here and have this one around the back. Actually, we have storage for some of these tethers over here, but all the way down. But then you got bar storage, and then even if you look a little bit behind, we have the shotgun bar storage back here. All of this made by Sorinex, all of this created from a guy like yourself who's testing the stuff at home, asking the question of how can it be better, how can it better serve our individuals and our customers as well. Here is something I'm very familiar with from seeing our work in Division I schools, Division II, all the way up to the NFL and NBA, storage systems.
Sure.
I think, you know, being a company that provides a service, you want to be all encompassing, and this is something that I'm really, really proud to see because I know the work, the ingenuity that goes behind it. So just tell me a little bit about what you were looking for when you got this.
Well, sure. That's one thing that I believe has set us apart. Again, not only the functionality of the movement, but functionality of where do you store all your tools.
Right.
And that increases workflow within a room. It increases safety. And that's something that Pop's has always been big on since the 80s when we started. But for me, of course, I use center mass bells almost constantly, and whether it be swinging, pressing, whatever it may be. So I wanted to have a place to put them. Intentionally, I have them up high, so it's easier for me to get to, harder for my kids to get to.
Right. Well, that's what I think we're all talking about here is, you know, what is the footprint of what we're trying to do? And, you know, you see a lot of gyms, they'll have these big extensions where the racks actually come out here, and they have to do that to tailor so you can get the bigger dumbbells in there and whatnot. What I'm seeing here is you got a lot of clearance space here with the hands. It's stacked vertically. Makes a lot of sense, and it's very, very close to the wall, so you save space.
Right.
You've got storage space underneath, and I think more so than just answering the question of what do I need to outfit my gym, it's like how can I outfit my gym and save the most space?
Right.
And that's what I'm seeing. A lot of what you have here would be 2 to 3 times as big
Sure.
from other, you know, outfitters in this industry. So I think the compactness really lends itself to the home gym, the garage gym, and the versatility lends itself all the way up to the highest levels, and I think it's amazing.
Right.
I mean,
Thanks.
you know, having a garage gym, I feel kind of like a peasant right now, you know, just looking around, but it's giving me a lot of ideas, you know, and it makes me think I can do more. So just a way to pay homage to who you are and whatnot. I'm really fascinated with the use of space in every form and function, but this was really unique to me. This is something I've not seen. It wasn't something I expected, but when you started talking about it, I got my own vision.
Sure.
So just how did you make this happen? What was your driving force behind this? And I want to talk about the mirror.
Sure, okay. Well, first of all, it was solving a problem. I insulated the room, and then I need to insulate the doors. So we put up, like I said, that blue insulation. It looked terrible. What do we do to cover it? Also, the part of the wood on the walls, the acacia wood walls, I didn't want to clutter with a lot of pictures, but I'm a person that pulls from experiences. Part of the whole Be Legendary mindset and extraordinary people and extraordinary experiences is remembering those and letting those inspire you to drive on to do more.
Yep.
So the idea came about, I don't remember exactly where it came from, was to put pictures up in the actual panels of the garage door. So what we did, for about a year, this has been coming together, I either selected pictures of the thousands of pictures that I had on my phone from my past, whatever, or with the adventures I had in the last year, I took specific pictures with the mindset of, I'm going to use this on the wall one day.
Sure.
The idea behind it is, these are things that speak to my soul, like gutturally, like where I am. They remind me of experiences, sometimes just a shot that may not have an obvious reason. I remember something, I remember where I was, what I was thinking, what I was going through, what that person means to me.
Right.
And then I get to relive highlights of my life constantly. And when the weight gets heavy or I'm having a bad day or I'm out here, I look up and I see someone or see a time that was different that pulls me out of that. And it's been an homage to when my friends come over, and some of them are on the wall, and I get to show them, you're a part of my life to the point that I put you on my wall because you're ones that I look to every day, and I appreciate it. So
well, I think
part of what it was.
you know, I think what's standing out to me the most, and you know, I know each picture has its own meaning, and I think it's amazing. But to me, these aren't the obvious hardcore photographs. You know, even We have pictures of people that we know, in a combat zone or, hunting or whatever. But you have pictures of your son and pictures of your wife and these special moments that I think a lot of times you don't necessarily equate to a gym. But again, when I equate things to you, it is that family. It is that special moment, the calm before the storm kind of thing. And then the reflection, and to me, the mirror is the piece that caught the most to me. What does a mirror mean to you?
Well, it's 45 panels, 43 are pictures, these 2 are mirrors. So all of the pictures are parts of what has made up my life or made up who I am. But what's in the mirror is who I am at the moment, and I get to watch who's changing and what my actions and my experiences. I could see myself changing, and it also is a reminder, are you changing? Are you getting better? Are you living up to what's on the wall? Those people on the wall and those experiences, are you living up to those blessings? Are you letting those people down? Are you inspiring those people to be better? And that guy in the mirror, is he good enough for these blessings that his life has been given? And it's a little bit of a check every time. And when everyone comes, as they train, if you notice, it's right in front of the rack and right in front of the platform where I do most of my work. When they come and they stand and they see themselves in the mirror, it's a part where they could look and they could imagine what does their wall of their life look like. If they were to do this, what are the 43 pictures they would choose? Do they want? Sometimes looking in the mirror is one of the hardest things you ever do. That's the best picture, and that's sometimes the hardest picture, are those 2 mirrors. So that was part of the process. Again, sometimes when I'm out here working late or doing one thing or another, seeing a picture of my son the first day that we took him out to the farm, part of this reminds me that I want a picture of his son 30 years from now when he takes him to the farm the first time, or different things that I want to see, or the picture of my wife and our hands on our wedding day. And when I look at strength, and this is a gym for strength and manliness and all this other type of stuff, I think, one of the hardest things is marriage. You have to be extremely strong, you have to be selfless, you have to be all the things that we say we're training in the gym. And I also have to remember, why am I doing all of this? I'm doing it for my family, and to not forget that. So that's a part of the history of the wall. It's going to be ever changing. I'd love for people to get to come and see it. Going to probably do a little bit of a series of dive into each picture and let everyone know what it is. Some of them are very private, but I'm going to share my life and some of the intricacies there. And I hope someone else takes this idea. I've never seen it done before, but maybe it'd be kind of a cool thing. I'd like to see what other people decide to put up on their wall.
Sure. So for me, I think, it's just about true of anything. It's all about perspective. And when you have a mirror, it can be a very vain thing to have in the gym. And I think we've trained ourselves to think that when we see those mirrors. But also, I think it just can be an honest reflection of where you are, what you're about, and where you're going. I mean, that's the surest thing that I've ever found is you can't take back where you've been, and you can't tell where you're going. If you have a position of where you are, then you can get going somewhere. And I think a mirror is a very powerful piece in this, and maybe more so than even you intended. But I think to me that was the one piece that spoke to me the most. Was that was there. And I think it's good to have it there because you can see the work, you can see what you're working for.
And sometimes it's utilitarian. You coaching someone through something, they see a position, great. But a lot of it is the guy in the mirror living up to the rest of this?
Exactly.
And is the guy in the mirror making these pictures better next year?
Yeah, for sure. Finally, we have this open piece that's kind of above the door here, and I noticed a lot of really cool stuff. We're going to talk about the skateboards in a minute. There's a good story behind the beyond there. But we got the rock climbing wall here, and this was kind of designed for your kids. We have the wood that goes all the way around the gym here, and we also have these metal pieces. And then I see the cross made from iron, or the railroad ties. And then I see just some effective things here that you might not notice. You got the key holders or the rack here with bullets on there, the shells. So just tell me a little bit about what you were thinking when you put this wall together.
Sure. So part of this is not only a utility expression, but it's an art expression of just what excites me. And so I'm big into steel, iron, wood, all kind of some natural things. So I was going to do the pallet wall. A lot of folks do that. Honestly, it was a whole lot of labor to get it to work, and I knew after I got it done, I wouldn't be able to actually mount things to it and have a different approach to it. Also, I like being a little bit different. So we found this Acacia hardwood, this is what they call butcher block, and I put that up inch thick, and so that was the top, say 2/3 of the wall, but I definitely wanted a steel feel as well. So one of our buildings on our property at Sorinex, an old building, when the hurricane came through, it blew off all the roofing material and blew it into a field about 1.5 years ago. So I remember that was there, and so I tromped out there last summer and washed off all the fire ants and everything like that, loaded up a flatbed trailer and brought it over here. And we sat outside with cut-off wheels and cut it to where it fit completely. And I really like the effect it gave, with the rust and the tin, and it just kind of brings out that feeling inside me that I've always it's where I would want to hang out.
Yeah.
So some of the pallet wood that I did put together, we used as trimming. We built in this little shelf along the whole edge of the wall that allows to put up different things. I have some 308 bullets there that I use to hang keys and jackets and things on like that, just to give a little bit more of an effect. The door, the entrance exit door, I painted with blackboard paint, so we can write workouts, things like that, messages to my kids and my wife when I'm gone. 'Cause I know they'll come and work out. At least they know I was here and thinking about them. And one always wanted to have a rock climbing wall somewhere, but in this specific facility, I don't have space for it. So with this open space, I could still do pull-up variations.
Right.
And I could use it for different ways. But also my son, who's been shown to be on the spectrum, one of the things they said that he needs to do is some bilateral and unilateral work with rights and lefts to get both sides of the brain working.
Right.
So I wanted to build this for him and for all 3 of the kids as they were able to go. It's right over the turf. It's only about 8 feet high, so they can't really fall and hurt themselves. But you might have seen him scampering around and climbing around, and so that's part of his little workouts and something that we could do together. So this was a great addition, and these were just, I bought them online and screwed them in, and it was money well spent.
Well, yeah, I think it's one of the things, these are the kind of ideas that we give to a lot of our clients as a personal touch. We identify characteristics about them. One of the guys that we were talking about just up the road here, and he has a home gym that's immaculate.
Oh my gosh.
But just having the foresight to think and to understand our clients, not only as clients, but as friends,
right,
and a part of our community. Once you're a part of the community, it's very hard to get out of that community.
Right.
We kind of open the doors to a lot of things, and knowing those aspects, I could simply put a brass hook on here. This is something different. This is something that sets it apart. It's something that you're not going to notice right away. But a lot of times when we go around to places, that's the things that they comment on is, man, it's the details. It's the little things. The smallest little things that catch our eye or catch our attention, or we're proud to show this off. And I think that's what sets us apart, is just that we're not doing it because you're giving us a dollar amount. We're doing it because we want it to be something that you're very, very proud of, and a reflection of you.
Sure. So I think we have to understand the person and the program and their branding and who they are. For instance, we're putting in the weight room at Oregon's football facility tomorrow. And part of it was really understanding Oregon football, their branding and their approach, and they were able to put these little details in, something equivalent to this.
Right.
And this was me. This is what I wanted.
Right.
Yes, I could have got. So I was thinking first it was a nail.
Right.
Then it was brass hooks. Then it was an antique brass hook. Then it was, hey, I'll use bullet casings. And I was like, if I'm going to use bullet casings, why don't I put live rounds in there? Because never seen anybody do it.
Right.
Didn't use a hammer to put it in though. That was kind of put in by hand, and it's different, and it was me. So that's where I believe we do a really good job of finding who those clients are, whether it's what they prefer, how they want to work out, or what really moves the needle for them and moves the needles for their kids. And I say kids if it's a college athletes. and what really sells and tells the story, where it moves them at the visceral level where they want to do something greater. And that's what we're pretty good at that.
So I see a couple skateboards up here.
Sure.
I know that you're a throwback skateboard kid.
Sure.
The guy that gave you this one is a pretty awesome dude.
He's a good dude.
Actually, I won this one for a karaoke contest in Vegas.
It was a rap battle.
It was a rap.
It
was a rap battle. I had to put it on the mic because I knew we were putting it on the line for Sorinex. So I gave this to Bert. Very, very proud to do it because Bert's given me a lot, and I'm not nearly as good on a skateboard as I once was, which was never very good at all. I was more of a loser. I was
right. Yeah, you're a speed wobble guy.
Exactly. And then the top on the snake farm. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this one was great. I mean, you were awesome enough to give me this board, which I rode through the Atlanta airport on the way home from Vegas. And it was cool because it got me back into skating, something that I really kind of gave up almost 30 years ago. And I got playing around with it, and kind of the funny part about the snake farm is, Zach Brown and I are friends, and went to Alaska with him last year, and we were bow fishing, doing some stuff, goofing around. And we kept listening to the song Snake Farm, and so
I actually saw that guy in Nashville. He opened
awesome.
He opened up for Cadillac 3, so that was a pretty good one. Yeah.
So Zach's actually naming his boat Snake Farm in Alaska after this thing. So I look online, and there's this Snake Farm company. They build skate gear, and it just made so much sense. Reached out to those guys, better known, super cool guys.
Yeah.
So of course you got to support those who are doing some great stuff. So bought their board, and actually took the board and did my first ollie in about 20 years on their board. And that was the same board that I used for my longbow shot.
Awesome.
So it's all, it puts it up there. It's kind of cool art, and I get to take it down and use it every once in a while.
Exactly. So I think this is our first warning shot to Pier 1 and,
Acacia. Watch out, Acacia.
But, understanding and having a flow and having a uniform weight room or having a uniform workspace or even a gym space is important, and we've answered that call.
Right.
So we've started building, we've got bunk beds, which is where I slept last night at HQ.
Yep.
Made out of the same material that we make our racks out of. The next generation was storage. That's always something that is at a premium.
Desks at the HQ or the office to have the
exactly.
integrated desks.
I think it's just a natural evolution, but it's not something that everybody knows that we do.
Sure.
So this is the call to glory right here.
Sure.
This is something we've been doing. It's something we have in place at the office. It's something that's used every single day. We know it's sturdy. We know it works, but we want people to understand that their options are pretty much limitless.
Right.
That is our goal, is to outfit any need possible.
Sure.
So what we have here.
Yeah. This is what I call the ammo desk. It may have a cooler name for it, but I needed a place to put ammo and my gun tools and loading stuff, and I needed a space to work.
And this serves as, a loading dock for your equipment for camping, hunting, hiking, whatever it may be.
Staging area.
Exactly. And then also cleaning your guns, anything that you might need.
Mounting scopes, sharpening knives, and all that.
Having a meal.
100%.
Anything. But tell me a little bit about the thought process that came by this. How did you guys actually put this into play, and what was your motivation for having this just like this?
Well, it's congruent with everything else. It was what I needed in my life to make it work. So I wanted to have a place that I could work, tools sturdy enough where I could actually do some heavy work. I also needed a place that I could set up guns, whether I'm doing a bow, whether I'm doing a sight or a scope, high enough off the ground where my little kids can't touch it and grab it. A nice open work area. It's 8 feet by 30 inches, so 96 by 30, and then having integrated where we're not wasting all that space. It has 18 bays that are out of laser cut steel that are put in, and this thing probably weighs thousands of pounds with the ammo and things that are in there, but it gave me one spot where I could categorize where everything is. So if I'm running in or out, a lot of people I take shooting, hunting, things like that, I need to be able to find 308 ammo really fast, go to that, pull that section, and then I could also keep a visual inventory when to reload.
So if somebody were to get this is obviously customized to your needs, your gym. What other kind of tops can we put on there? Is there a limit?
There's not really a limit. It's whatever you could really come up with. I wanted it to be congruent with the Acacia, so I use the same wood. The last part of it that's used all the time is, we're done doing all of our work. We swipe this clean. and this becomes a podcast table. It becomes where we pull these chairs around it. It becomes our little storytelling section to eat a meal. We've done that before. Little bar, we crank the lights down. You see I have a little bit of the string light in here, so it kind of changes the mood of the whole place, which was all intentional. We wanted to have a multifunctional piece because I only have so much space. So I instead of making a man cave bar or whatever, or tool safe, I have everything in one spot.
So I'm looking at the space here, and I'm thinking about my gym because, like I said, my gym is about from here over.
Sure.
Without this being here, it still feels very empty.
Right.
The universality of this is amazing. But one thing I do want to talk about, it needs to have a table of this weight and sturdiness. You have to have a chair.
You have to have chairs.
So tell me about these.
Yeah, so these chairs, again, my friend Zach, he owns ZB Customs. They did my truck, but they also do custom furniture. So I was there, they were in Atlanta, Georgia. I was there, and they were building these chairs for the Phillips Arena where they have a restaurant going in. I bet these chairs weigh easily close to 80 to 100 pounds. They're super sturdy, American made right there. 5-axis router, solid wood. I love the chairs when I walk through, and they made 4 chairs for me, so then I could pull them around. We could have a nice meal. I know they could customize the different types, and they'll be available from Sorinex as well for different man cave projects or different administrative projects as well. And again, kind of like going with the wall. I always like to deal with people that have poured into my life, and if I'm going to spend the money, spend it with people that you enjoy, and to thank them for their work.
One thing I can probably wrap this up with is, we don't just build gym equipment. We build gym equipment and sustainability equipment that can enhance your life.
Yes.
Not just from a health and fitness level, but this is a table that we have sat around, friends and family, and we've had conversations, we've had drinks, and this is something that ties it all together.
Right.
And it's got so many functions, and I think that's what Sorinex is all about. Just
Thanks.
bringing people together, doing legendary things, and having a great damn time.
That's all it is. Thanks for coming, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's get working on yours.
Thank you.